That was funny. Hi, everyone. Welcome to All About the Joy. Cynthia, I'm so glad you're in the house. Rick Costa, as always. Thank you for being here. How are you guys doing? Cynthia, let's start with you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm getting better. Obviously my voice is probably gonna go in and out, but getting better.
Yeah, so you've been sick for a while now, though.
Yeah, for about a week, a little over a week now.
Okay. Rick, how are you doing?
Good. Busy, but yeah, doing good.
What do you mean busy?
Always busy. Full-time job, taking care of mom, other stuff I'm doing. It's just busy.
Wait. You kind of skipped over the other stuff you're doing. You want to share?
No, like website stuff, my broadcast. There's a lot of stuff.
Okay. Whatever. Okay, so I had sent a list of the things we're going to talk about. Cynthia was like, I can barely speak because my throat is killing me, but I need to be on the show. Hey, Melanie, how are you? How you doing? So we're going to start with Cynthia's day today, go into our first conversation about customer service. I just put it out there, but Cynthia, what happened at work?
Okay, first, let me just say, any type of customer service is not easy. It doesn't matter if it's retail, it doesn't matter if it's food, medical, it's not easy. As people probably think, oh yeah, all you do is, check a patient in, blah, 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 or, just serve somebody food and keep it going. It's not always that easy. So today I was back at work and, it's been a rainy day. Everybody's kind of like in a bum mood, whatever, because it's raining and snowing everywhere. Okay, understandable. No one's going to be in the best of moods. So today I had a patient come in and I'm in the middle of doing something. Now, mind you, right in front of my desk, I have a sign that says, please wait at the stop sign to be called. So that way, people aren't coming up to the desk and seeing other people's private information that you're working on. But of course, no one sees the sign, no one reads it, and they come right up to the desk.
Oh, they read it. They just come up to the desk anyway because they're special. So go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So of course, I have to cover what I'm working on and check this patient in. So I check her in and she goes, sits down. And when she's coming out from her appointment, she needs to make a follow-up appointment. Okay. So I'm going to help her. Now, the doctor that she saw today is a resident. Now, residents, I don't know if you know this, are work usually their rounds for 3 years, and then they graduate and become actual MDs. So the doctor she was seeing today was a resident. And so she comes out, she says, oh, I have to make a 3-month follow-up. So I said, okay, ask her name again, look her up, ask her which doctor. And I said, well, this doctor, we don't have her schedule up yet because she's a resident, and we'll have it up in the next month or two so we can book you for the summer. She was not happy with that. She goes, well, the doctor told me to book in 3 months. When will the schedule be open? I said, well, let me go check for you. I was being nice, even though she hadn't had to. I was being nice.
I'm already annoyed.
And so I go get the assistant manager and I said, do you know when the schedules will be open for the summer? And she's like, oh, we don't know until we get it from the higher ups. I said, okay. I said, can you please go explain this to this patient? Because I've explained it 3 times already and she's not giving up. So she comes out and so the assistant manager is talking to her and she's like, explains it again, very nicely, very calmly. And the patient goes, well, what am I supposed to do? Why can't you make this appointment? And we're trying to say to her, we can't, we don't have their schedule. We have to wait for the higher ups. So she sees the doctor walk by behind me and she's calling the doctor. So I turned around and I said, Doc, come here for a minute. Now, the doctors I'm very cool with, so I'll be very straight out with them. So I said, come here, please. I said, you told this patient to come out and make an appointment for 3 months, but we don't have your schedule for the summer. And she goes, oh, okay, well, can we do it for next month? I said, yeah, perfect. So I turned around and I said to the patient, okay, we can make it for next month. This patient straight out lied to the doctor in front of me and said, well, she didn't tell me that. She told me I couldn't make an appointment at all. I lost it. And I said, right in front of I said, I did not say that. Why are you lying?
You said that to the patient?
I sure as hell did. And my assistant manager was standing right there and she had a grin on her face because she knew I was going to explode. And she's like, I said, you're lying. I said, that is not what I said. And she goes, the doctor's like, it's okay. We'll book you for next month. So she's like, okay, what do you have for next month? So I give her the date and time. And so the doctor's like, okay. So the patient's asking the doctor, is that okay with you? The doctor's like, is that okay with you?
Right.
Like, does that date and time work for you? And she's like, yes. So I booked her. And then she continues. The patient continues after I've already booked her. Continues to blatantly lie now about my assistant manager. and says that the assistant manager was rude. And she's the problem.
Wow.
Because she told me to call another office to get an appointment. She goes, and the assistant manager was like, no, I told you if you would like, you can call patient relations and complain. And she's like, you told me to call them to get another appointment. And my face was just turning red and I was biting my tongue because I was like, if this glass screen was not in front of me, I probably would have thrown something at her by now. So yeah. So then my practice manager comes out and she's like, is everything okay? And so the lady's leaving and I just turned around and I said, the lies coming out of this woman.
Oh, Cynthia, that's bad though.
Oh, I didn't say it in front of the lady was already walking away. And I just said, the lies coming out of this woman. And, the doctor is like, oh, I know. She goes, I'm so sorry. She's apologizing to me because she knows how the patient is.
Right.
Because the patient's acting very entitled and she was acting like that with her. And the manager's like, do you need to walk away? I said, no, I'm good. I said, let's keep it moving.
Okay, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna play devil's advocate because is there a way in which that you could have maybe de-escalated the situation instead of?
Well, that's why, because I knew how I was going to get. I knew how I was going to get because she was already giving me it. That's why I went to get the assistant manager.
Look at Mario. Get him, Cynthia.
Starting off spicy.
That's why I went to go get the assistant manager so that she could do it. Because, if she's getting the big bucks, then she's going to have to deal with this. And I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But when she started lying, it's like, don't lie right to my face. You know exactly what I said to you. And you're trying to get me in trouble in front of the doctor when the doctor knows I would never do that. So that's why I said, you're lying. That's not what I said. So that was just like,
what's your hospital again? I got to make sure I never go there. You better be on point if you're into look at, I'm not shy. I wasn't there. I trust you. I'm on Team Cynthia. Okay. But because I'm coming at this from a different point of view, not the patient side. I'm talking about like just in general, like whenever I call customer service or deal with customer service, I feel like they're the ones who have a chip on their shoulder because they're so sick and tired of dealing with patients I think it takes a lot of work to be a customer service person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I totally agree. There are definitely people who work in customer service that shouldn't. And a lot of them do act like they have a chip on their shoulder. Don't get me wrong. I go in there, I may have a bad day at home or whatever, and I'll go to work. I'm not bringing my home problems to work. I'm there to work.
No, you're a nice person. So I know that you're at your limit if you're going off on a patient. Because I know you so well. I would last 5 minutes. Like if I had your job, it'd be 5 minutes, I'd be done. You know what I mean? Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I'll say every job is customer service related. And that's what I was telling staff people yesterday. It was what I was telling staff people today. Like, I don't care that you think you don't work with the public. Your inability to talk to each other and to stop being so negative and to stop being so angry is part of having good customer service skills, just having good skills of communication, right? Absolutely. Like if we treated people the way in which we want to be treated at work, it'd be a much easier thing to do, but people are not nice. But okay, so Rick did customer service all day long as well.
I had a little incident today. Not as bad as Cynthia's, but.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So this woman calls, and so they often get my company mixed up with another company. My company is just strictly retail, just sell to the general public. But there's this other company with a very similar name, just with an extra word added to it, that deals with patients and insurance and Medicare and all this stuff. So there's key words. When I hear patient, insurance, Medicare, I'm like, okay, this you call in the wrong place. So this lady's calling and she's starting to explain blah, 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 blah. And she's saying those key words. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Are you sure this is the right? Can I please finish? Can you let me talk? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Knowing she's going to be wasting her time telling me this big spiel. And then at the end, I was like, so it said, this is the name of the company. Yeah. Did it have the word supply in it? She goes, yeah. I said, okay. As I tried to say, that's another company. You're calling the wrong place. I'm so sorry. So, if you want to look them up on Google, you can probably find it that way, but we're not the company. I'm so sorry. You called the wrong place.
Was she mad then? Mad then?
No. Hey, Gigi. No, she didn't act mad at all because I think she knew I was being nice and she was totally in the wrong. And I tried to stop her from saying all this, wasted her breath, basically.
Okay. I have a question for you though, Rick. If I call your company, the retail company part, do I have to go through a lot of prompts like hit one, like do you have to do, because let me just tell you, and this is a shout out to all motherfucking banks. Let me just throw this out there. When I call a bank, and I know rarely anyone does anymore, and I rarely don't, but if I have an issue with a credit card or whatever, and I have to go through 13 minutes of round robin, is that what they call it? When you have to go one, then the two, then the put in your, and the worst thing for me is we need more information to verify who you are. So they want like your number, your credit card number, the code on the back, and then finally after you're on hold for 13 the fucking minutes to bad music. Then you get a person who's like, hi, we need to verify who you are. Can you please give me your date of birth? And I'm like, so I know it's not what you guys are talking about, but I'm just saying, when you set it up that way, we're going to be pissed right when you answer the phone. Right when you answer that phone. Same thing with the chat thing. I had a chat thing today with, and I'm going to say the name of the company, 1-800-CONTACTS. I get my contacts from 1-800-CONTACTS, and every time I usually have a smooth sailing situation. But in the chat, I'm like, okay, this person does not type fast enough, and that little prompt is going, and then it's like one line. Thank you. If I can have 1 minute, I'll be right back. And I'm like, I've been waiting 5 minutes with the prompt. So I'm saying it from the other point of view, because like you guys take that information. Sometimes we are set up to be angry. If we're having an issue with our credit card or something we bought from you, Rick, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Or we're feeling ill, that on top of all that other stuff kind of just adds to it. So I think that's why customer service is really hard, because you guys have to see that, de-escalate it, and still handle the problem.
I totally get that. So, we get a lot of calls. People, have been waiting 5-10 minutes, to get in contact with somebody because they're not feeling well. And I get it, because I did call our office one day just to see what the patients deal with, what they have to hear. And it was like 5 minutes of explaining this whole thing before they even say, press 1 for this office, press 2 for this office. And I was like, I would have already hung up by now. Yeah. And I was like, no wonder why these patients are upset. They are waiting for a half hour just to get to someone.
But it's not even the waiting. It's the maze of hit 1 and then 5 and then and the worst ones are the voice prompts, because they don't understand you. Say 7 or whatever. Take billing, and they're like billing. They're like, that's not on the menu. I'm like, you just said it was on the menu.
Para español, oprima el número 2.
It's so wrong.
Yes, I mean,
no,
and I get it. Even I have complaints to our higher ups. Like, our phone tree needs to be better. Our phone tree needs to be shortened, get to the point, so these people can get to where they need to go, and we can answer their questions, get them off the phone, on to the next. I even complained about it, and they haven't done anything. But again, like I said, like you said, to play devil's advocate, it's also not the person who's answering the phone. It's also not their fault. They have no control over that. Right. They're working for a company who may have heard these complaints from customers, patients, and their old employees, and they still haven't done anything about it, which gets me upset with the higher ups, because it's like,
I love that you call them the higher ups. I've never heard that. Let me just read Adam's comment. My company is AAG Appliance Repair, and there's another company near me that's LG Appliances. Ooh, that would be hard. People will call mad that LG Appliance didn't show up. Oh, Adam, that's horrible. I try to explain it's a different company, not me. You know what? That's just wrong on so many levels. But yeah, that must be a pain in the butt. Oh, that's just
what I did a lot of also. So the I've fallen and I can't get up device.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of them, I guess, are called Lifeline, which is part of my company's name too. And I got these senior citizens calling, and I'm like, oh, sweetie, this is not the right company. I'm so sorry. Do you have the number? Let me go to Google and find it for you. Hold on one second. You got a pen? And I'll find it. And I'm like, yeah, this is not the right company. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I did something wrong.
Yeah. Some of them, you really do feel so bad for them, and you want to help them. And it's like, you go above and beyond to help those, because you can feel their pain. You can. But then those others that just start off on 1,000, and it's like, hold on. It's like, can you relax and let me get your info so I can help you? It's like, if you calm down and just give me a second, I can help you.
I know. But if you tell someone on the phone to calm down, I mean, if I'm elevated and you tell me to calm down, we gonna be fighting. Melanie just said, I know what you were talking about. I had a question about my debit card, and I just happened to be driving by my bank, so I stopped in to talk to an actual person. Easier than calling. Yeah. Absolutely. And here's the thing. I will say this, Cynthia. My doctor's office has my chart. I don't know if it's Cedar Sinai or whatever. And I directly email my doctor, and she responds, and that's so much easier. But if you have elderly people or whatever, it's a whole different ballgame. Yeah.
My thing is, like, I had another patient today who used my chart, and, she sent a message to the doctor about a medication that she needed. And, granted, the doctor that she sees wasn't in the office today, but they do check their messages. So the patient happened to be in the building for another appointment, and she just decided to come into the office. And it's like, yes, my chart is definitely easier to get in contact with the doctor or nurse, anything like that, than waiting on the phone. But also, coming into the office after you just sent a message, like literally 15 minutes ago, doesn't help, because it doesn't give anybody any time to actually get to the message. I mean, we get thousands of messages.
On my chart thing, first of all, my doctor rarely answers her own my chart. I'm just going to be
It's always a nurse.
But it's her staff. Like, I'll be like, I just need my prescription called in. can you change it to whatever? You know what I mean? Like, and I know because her assistant or whatever they're called, whatever the person is answering the email. I don't know if it's the nurse or the guy that does the blood. I don't know who's answering it, but it's always someone different with a different, because I can tell by the sentence structure. You know what I mean? My point is somebody's answering those emails, and it always says it's going to take, at least 24 hours. So if you need something immediate, please call 911 or, you know what I mean? So people should know that, but people don't have patience, not when you're sick.
And that's the thing. And obviously when you don't feel good, you want something right then and there. And I get that because at the time I don't feel good. So I know,
but why do you do customer service then?
Because I like helping people. I really do. You know that. I do like helping people. And I have so many patients that come in that are so sweet, and I go above and beyond for them. And I try to help them as much as I can.
I mean, even recently you were like, Carmen, did you send me that present? I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Your birthday? And it was from one of your patients.
Flowers.
It wasn't me. I was trying to take credit for it though. Rick, why do you do customer service?
But I was just thinking maybe, Cynthia, you kind of like the whole working with cadaver thing eventually, hopefully one day, because they can't talk back.
Right, exactly.
I still don't get, I'm going to tell you right now, it still freaks me out that she wants to do, what is it called again?
Forensic anthropology,
dealing with dead people, looking at their bodies, cutting them open, doing what Ducky does on NCIS. That's how I'm going to look at it from now on. Right? Ducky on NCIS or what?
I said it's mostly bones that I would.
Oh yeah. What's her name? Tempest. What's her name on that show?
Brennan.
Tempest Brennan on the show Bones. The problem is a lot of people haven't seen the show Bones. So I think more people have seen NCIS. So it's kind of the same thing, but she is an anthropologist. Like she'll do old people, not like age-wise, but like historical. Right? That's what you're interested in. But I'm just saying with your personality, as much as I love and love you, and I've known you your whole life, and I want the best for you, it makes no sense to me that you want to do that. I don't get it. Yeah, it grosses me out. I'm so sorry. I want you to do it though, but I don't want you to do it.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, then.
But I think it's because you're going to be helping people in a bigger way, because you're going to find ways to find closure.
Right.
I guess. It still doesn't wrap around my head. So, Rick, have you always wanted to be in customer service, or are you doing this because it's the best thing for you to do now to work from home? But you always worked for them, right? Even before you were ill.
Before, I worked for the same company. I've been in this company for almost 20 years, so it's a long time. Yeah. So, not necessarily that I wanted to do it. Adam said my daughter wants to be a coroner. How figure?
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
But
connection, Adam and Cynthia. Wow, so weird. We need those people. I just find
we need them.
We do. And you've got to be a certain kind of person. I just don't know if I think Cynthia's that. And I am the judge of all people. So, I don't know. I don't see you in that stuffage. But anyway, Rick, I'm sorry.
I don't know that I necessarily tried to go for this type of position, but I pretty quickly realized I'm pretty good at it. People like dealing with me. Like the last big company I worked for, every time there was like a problem person, they're like, you know what, just tell them to hold on, give them the Rick, because nobody could rattle me. You can sit there and say, talk about my mama, and I'll still be as calm as could be. I don't care.
I don't know why you're so calm.
I don't know. It's just the peace that I have. I don't know.
Well, I think something that you both do, because now I'm going to play doctor, therapist, Carmen. Something you both have that I don't have is, and I say this as a respectful thing, that you guys have so much patience. You have a lot of patience, and you tend to I don't know how to say this respectfully because it's going to sound like it's a negative, but it's a positive. You guys keep a lot of things in, whereas I am like, what? I can't right out. So I can't even this is why I could never be a waitress. It's the same thing. I remember when I first moved out here, people so if you want to do acting or you want to get into Hollywood, whatever, you should really, the easiest job is to be a waiter. I was like, it's never going to happen. I have known my whole life. If anybody complained about anything as I serve them food, no, we'd be done.
See, that's one thing I couldn't do is hospitality, waitressing or housekeeping. I give them absolutely so much credit. I really do.
Wait, housekeeping though is harder because that's hard labor work.
Yeah, no, it is. But
look at Darcy. I let it all come out too. Go ahead. Okay.
Yes, she does. She ain't lying.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
It's like a lot of the times, a lot of housekeeping at hotels, even in hospitals, go unnoticed because it's almost like they're backstage kind of thing. You know what I mean? You don't see them. They come in. They come in, clean up, do what they got to do. Set's ready for the next show.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're so underappreciated.
Yeah, definitely. I remember we used to always, from our church, we'd go every year with the youth to a trip in Maryland, I think it was. And so we'd all be in a hotel, whatever. And I'm like, all right, guys, come on. Your mama's not here. Please clean up after yourselves. Y'all trashing this place, da-da-da. And then on the final day, It's always me that stays behind and cleans everything up. Make sure they got a tip because these cheap little punks ain't giving no money for it.
That's what I was going to say. People do not realize. So I'm going to tell you something I learned from my trip in Aruba. Because I spoke to the housekeeping people. I actually have their numbers. Joanne's like, you're the only person. I'm like, no, because they live there. And also, I was telling you last time, they were speaking all these different languages, and I was hearing them, and I was like, well, también, and they were like, yeah, we're not speaking Spanish. They do speak Spanish, but so I got to talk to them or whatever. And so here's something I never knew. And for somebody who stays in hotels a lot, you think I would have known. You should always leave a tip every day, not at the end of your stay, because it could be a different housekeeper who comes in. So you're actually just paying the person that's working that day. So, and I told everyone that we were with, in the future, leave a couple bucks every day as opposed to, $10 or whatever it is you're leaving at the end. You know what I mean? And I know some people are probably like, $10? I leave them a couple bucks. You should not be leaving such cheap tips either to people doing manual labor. I'm just going to throw that out there. So if you do a couple bucks every day, or you do like 10 or 20 bucks at the end of your stay or something, that seems reasonable. Sorry, judgy. But
even with waiters and waitresses, like, they have to split their tips with the busboys and, cooks and things like that. So not the whole tip doesn't always go all to them. They do have to split it up.
So that's harder because it's also different in every state.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that's a whole other conversation about minimum wage, which people get all upset about. But why is it in this country, I'm a big tipper, Cynthia. I tip ridiculous money, right? Yeah. So, but why in this country, right? Greatest country in the world. Why is it that you have to give a tip because the person can't live off what they're making, right? A tip should be an extra. It should be like a little bonus. Like, oh, that person was just so amazing. You go to any other country, you don't have to tip. It's included. You know what I mean? So it's just really a strange thing here. So yeah, people should be tipping. And you're right, Cynthia. It's not just for the waiter. They usually split it.
Yeah, there's people in other countries that, like, Americans will go there and then try to leave a tip, and they're like,
it's insulting.
What, you think I'm poor or something? What are you leaving me extra money for? Like, they get insulted.
It's insulting.
It's a different way.
And I'm not saying every other country. You need, like, if you're going to go to a different country, know the customs, know what you know what I mean? Read up, do what you got to do. As Cynthia knows, I did my itinerary with all of my information. I even had the consulate, the U.S. consulate. I had the Aruba consulate. I had everything on point just in case anything happened. So you want to learn all the customs, at least know the basic things, like tipping is a good one, and how to say hello in the language, or, good afternoon or good night. I think those things are nice things to be able to do, but
absolutely.
I hate that we have to tip people. I hate that we have to, because they can't live off what they make as waiters and whatever. That bothers me a lot. So what do you guys love or hate about your jobs? And now, besides, I like helping people, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Cynthia, I'm going to start with you, because I think this is an interesting question, because you are going to go into a situation where you are no longer going to be doing customer service. You're going to be behind the scenes.
True. I mean, technically, I would still have to do customer service. You still have to deal with other offices, family members. You still have to know how to speak to people.
Right.
You still have to be professional.
Okay, that's what I was telling my clients, my clients' teams yesterday and today. That's what I mean. Like, just because it's not somebody calling from outside, you have to deal with people in the office. So learning how to speak to other people, learning how to de-escalate situations. I have one client, actually I have two of them, but I have one client. The office is so negative, and everybody likes to blame the guy who owns the company. And I'm like, you're all a bunch of motherfucking negative people. They're just so angry all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, that's on you. That's what I mean by customer service within the company, right? The ethos, the culture has to change, and it has to do with being able, to bring joy when you walk in a room,
Nurses and doctors even are customer service. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, they have to have bedside manner. They have to be able to talk to their patients. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted the other day about being nice to healthcare workers, to staff, to the nurses who are taking care of your loved ones.
Mm-hmm. I think nurses get a lot more love than doctors nowadays. Yeah. Adam just said, I agree, they should pay them more, and it should be in the menu, give a tip to show appreciation. Adam, I agree. It's the way I thought it should be, but somehow it's become we have to give them money because they can't live off of it. But Cynthia, what were you just saying? You were talking about nurses versus, I think especially during COVID, nurses started getting a lot more love. I tend to think doctors don't have the best bedside manner, though, as I've said before, my hip surgery, that doctor, well, here's the thing. I didn't see him till after surgery because he was wearing a mask the whole time, right? And he always wear that hat or whatever whenever I met with him. And I met with him over 6 months. And I knew he had a body. But I was
Even with the scrubs on, huh?
right. I was in pain, so I wasn't like he's fine. You know what I mean? I was like, he had great bedside manner, but then he was also fine as all hell, right? Dr. Gerhard, Dr. Michael B. Gerhard here at is he at Cedars? I don't even know. I forgot wherever I was. Fine as all hell. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, great bedside manner. He did.
There are a lot of doctors and nurses that have great bedside manner, and there are some nurses that don't. And it sucks because it's like I could play both parts. I can see both parts. You know, they love helping people, but they do get pushed and pulled so thin that they are stressed out.
I know, but then they need to leave the job. I mean, so here's my problem. Here's what I'm gonna say. If you don't like your job, if you are too stressed out to do whatever the job is, customers, it doesn't matter what it is. If you don't, then you need to leave. You can't be, there's no justification for treating other people like crap because I'm calling customer service because I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having a bad day or you're stressed out because so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you this. Okay, this happened to me recently in the past year. I went to get blood work done, right? Because I found out about my thyroid. So this is a regular thing, trying to get my levels right. So I go to a lab. I don't have to go to my actual doctor's office, so they don't charge me an office fee. I just go to the lab itself directly. Mm-hmm. And so the first time I went, because it was a new lab I'd never been to, I was just like, I am really afraid of the needle thing. I just don't love them. You know what I mean? I don't like it or whatever. And the woman was like, I do this all day. I was like, well, I'm sure you do it all day, but that's not going to work for me. Like, that attitude is not going to work for me. She's like, well, then you're going to have to reschedule. And she had a whole attitude. She was all doing her head like this. I was like, I'm going to reschedule. Because it was just, and then, of course, you know me. If I think you're an amazing, wonderful, brilliant human being, customer service, I'm going to applaud you. I'm going to write that letter. I'm going to make sure everybody knows about it. I'm going to post about it. I'm going to talk about it. You a damn ass motherfucking bitch. I'm going to let everybody know about that shit too. You know what I mean? I wrote a letter because that was inappropriate. Yeah. And I thought that was inappropriate. She made me even more, like it just made me realize she's not going to care. And I don't care if she hears that from every single person that she draws blood from. If you don't like your job, leave it. Yep. Leave it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the same way with needles. And all my doctors know it. And like, they're so sympathetic with me that they will find the sweetest nurse to come and give me a shot or to draw my blood, and they know what type of needle to use and that. And this one time recently, I had to go get blood work done. And I'm telling my primary care, and it was a new girl who was working in the lab, and it was a young girl. So I said to her, I don't like needles. Can you please use the small butterfly needle on my hand? I don't like it in my arms. She's like, are you sure? Questioning me. Yeah. Like, don't question me. I know what I can and can't take. And I said, yes, I'm sure. I said, so I'm there. She's doing it. And, my leg is shaking because I'm nervous, but I'm sitting in the chair and I'm being still. Just my leg is shaking. And she goes, oh. And I felt something go wrong in my hand.
No.
She goes, oh, I think I'm going to take this out because you're making me nervous. And I said, well, did you get the blood? And she goes, no. And she goes and covers the spot where she had the needle already with the gauze and everything. She goes and gets another nurse. She goes, I'm going to get someone who's more experienced with the hand. Yeah. In my head, I was like, bitch, why didn't you get that person kindly? But I didn't say that. I was just like, okay.
Okay, that's the difference. See, Cynthia she thought that, but she didn't say it. I would have said that shit. I would have said it.
I was in such shock. So then the other lady comes in, goes and does the other hand. And she's there 2 seconds. And I was like, did you get it? She goes, no, there's no blood coming out. I said, take it out. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I said, I'm going to go somewhere else. Thank you. She said, okay. When I got home and I looked at my hand from the first girl, it was all black and blue and bubbled up.
Yeah, see, that's not cool.
And I was so mad. I was like, I wanted to punch her. But yeah, like you just have to listen to the people. If they know what they need, if they know what they want, just listen to them. Half the time, that's all they want is for somebody to listen to them. They could be bitching and moaning and doing all this and that. And it's like, okay, just keep going, because all they want is to just get it out. And a lot of times I will let somebody just vent, yell at me, do whatever. Okay. And there are times that I've had a patient actually in my face do that. And she'll just scream and scream. And I'm like, all right. I said, so I'm trying to help you. Are you done yelling? Because I don't appreciate you yelling at me when I'm trying to help you. And I had the medical director standing right behind me. She just went to the other MA. She goes, Cynthia's got it.
That just sounds like a really bad TV show. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like being the behind the scenes. But Rick, you were going to say something about you getting blood work. You don't like needles either.
Like it, I mentally, I know you're being irrational. Like, just relax. It's only going to take a second. It's not going to be a lot of pain. It just doesn't matter what you say. I'm going to freak out if I got to get any kind of shot. One time, warned the person, listen, he don't like my mother. I was still younger. You might want to have him lay down. No, it's fine. It's fine. So, okay. As soon as I saw that needle, I turned white as a sheet. And he's like, oh my God, put your head between your legs quick. And I'm like, do you not listen to people? Like, we're trying to tell you. And I know it's like, it makes me mad because I'm like, I know it's like an irrational fear or whatever.
Like, I don't think we have to justify not liking something. Like, people keep saying it's all in your head. Yes. And my head is part of my whole essence. Like, I hate that saying. Like, of course it's in my head, you dumbass. Like, that is what I'm telling you. So I'm trying to help people stop saying that. Because it's a very negative thing, and you're turning around and double downing on the fact that somehow you're crazy to feel the way you feel about it. Look, after my friend Caesar was killed in 9/11 in the Twin Towers, there's a lot of things I wanted to do, and I tried to do them. So I started running marathons then, and the other thing I started doing was giving blood. And I have A negative blood, so I was like, okay, it's not rare, but it's not you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this regularly. I have a friend who I actually follow on WordPress, whose name is also Tony. He gives blood every month without fail. He posts it on Instagram. He's a big advocate, So I wanted to be, because I was like, that's like such an easy, simple thing to do to help the world quietly. You could just go to the Red Cross, give blood, no big deal. I did it for about 6 months. And every time I went, it was such an ordeal, because after they put the needle in, I'd be fine, right? I'd get over that trauma. But then you're laying there in these kind of stretchers or whatever, and you're watching the blood of somebody else's blood go into a bag, or you know that everybody, and it just was making me nauseous. They asked me to stop giving blood. But I know they were nice about it, but it was just too much work for them because I was like sweating or whatever. And they're like, it's just, but what they do once in a while is that they haven't done it in a while though, so they must have more than enough blood. But back then they would call me if they needed A negative or something, you know what I mean? But that's when I realized, like, you know what? I don't like this process of doing the blood thing, whether it's just to like do lab work or to give blood. I don't like it, and that's okay. It's okay. For whatever reason,
it's triggering for me.
It's what?
It's triggering and it's traumatizing for me.
Oh, you mean from some experience in the past?
Yeah. Oh yeah, when I was a kid. So I was probably like maybe 5 or 6, and I used to be in the hospital a lot because of my asthma. So they always had to take blood, and my mom always had to hold me, and hold my arm, and it always hurt. But the one time that just did it in for me was I was in one of the rooms and I was crying and I didn't want to do it. And the nurses came in and they said, if you don't stop crying and stay still, we're going to send your mother out of the room and hold you down. And I remember that.
And that is great customer service.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it's triggering for me. So now it's like, it freaks me out every time I have to get blood.
Wow. Yeah, I don't even think I have a triggering event. I again, there's so many things I went to therapy for, and I was like, well, if I'm in therapy, let me work on everything. My problems. And it was my therapist who was like, yeah, I don't like needles either. Like, it doesn't, like, everything doesn't have to be a childhood, like, my mother had a needle and she was sewing and somehow it slipped. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be a story. And I was like, you know what, you're right. It just is what it is, But for me now, because I know that and because I'm okay with it being in my head, I have no problem telling people, and I feel better about it. And my thing is how the person reacts determines whether or not they get to draw blood from me or not. You know what I mean? Like, because if you're going to be a jerk, you're not coming near my arm. We'll say a lot of people who do that, they're such experts. Like, most people are really good at drawing blood, like, who do it for a living. You know what I mean? But I will say this, Cynthia, there's not going to be no novice taking blood from me. I would be like, oh, I love that you're doing this job. I need to see whoever your supervisor is. That wouldn't have even been an issue.
I mean, there was a girl that worked in our lab, and she literally only had one eye, but she was amazing at drawing blood.
Yeah. What did Mara just said? After being on dialysis for years, I know what you're talking about. However, I will tell any phlebotomist that I am a hard stick. If you have any challenges, back off, because I am nothing nice. Ooh, and I just learned a new word. I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know it. But phlebotomist, that's what they're called, right?
Yeah. So that's a good segue from my little story. My dad, who was totally opposite from me, like you said, I'm patient and all that stuff. My dad is so not patient at all. So one time somebody was trying to draw blood and they were having difficulty, and he was saying, "You're hurting me." And he looked at my mom, like, he gave her that look one more time.
Oh.
And he literally started to swing, and my mom grabbed his arm. I was like, yo, Dad, what in the world? He's like, she's lucky your mother was there, because I warned her. My dad was crazy.
I say, his dad did say that she was hurting him. He spoke up.
Look, I think that's the other thing too is, again, I know nurses and doctors have a tough time. They do such great work or whatever, but, I always advise people never go into the hospital without somebody to advocate for you, because I had that experience with my ex-husband when he went into the hospital. They flew him in by helicopter. He's a motocross guy. He got into an accident, blah, 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 whatever. I had to drive out to where he was. So it was a couple of hours before I got there. But when I got there, he had that same thing where he had been telling people that he was being hurt. And then when I walked in, I was like, what do you know what I mean? I totally took over the room because I realized he was in pain and they were not treating it. It wasn't just the physical pain of the accident. It was no one was advocating for him. So nobody was giving him what he needed to fend for him while he was in this weakened situation and state. And, the nurses came up and apologized to me, or whoever it was, is it the manager? I don't know what happens. It was whoever the supervisor is. It was a long, long time ago, but I remember being like, oh, hell to the no. And you don't want to have, like, if you can have somebody advocate for you, please have someone advocate for you, especially if you're in a situation where you're not fully conscious all the time,
Definitely.
No offense to nurses and doctors, but it's a tough job. It's like what we were saying before. It's a tough job. So yeah, you might, you may not mean to be mean to somebody, but if somebody says you're hurting me, you can't be like, I do this all the time. Just work somebody's body. You know what I mean?
It's
so weird.
It's annoying. Going back to the phone thing. Sounds like we're switching topics. I'm just going back to another one. So what annoys me about that, you're in what I call telephone hell, where you're pushing numbers and blah, blah, blah. And it's speak or push in your account number. So you do all that, right? Then you finally get a person. They start talking. It's like, okay, can you tell me your account number? I was like, I just put it in the phone. Why am I giving it to you again? Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you making me do twice the work? Why? I don't understand that. Another thing that annoys me is when you got like 9 different prompts, can you say the number first before all the contents? Because sometimes they say the opposite for this, and it's like there's some companies that like they deal with all kinds of different things, different products. It's like, if you need help with blah 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 da 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 da, press 2. And sometimes they give you a different number than you think it is. And I'm like, say the number first, so that as soon as I hear that one I need, boom, I'm gonna hit the number. I gotta wait for you to finish talking to it. I'm like, it's a simple thing, y'all. Can we please fix that?
Adam just said, my wife and I always go together. There should always be at least 2 people, even for just a doctor's appointment. It's stressful and you forget stuff. Yeah. Let me tell you, I go to my doctors on my own, not like the surgery or whatever, but my doctors, I think they appreciate me or not. I can do it, but I come in with my list. I'm all like, okay, because I know we only have like 20 minutes. I'm like, so here's what's happened. And then I have my questions and I answer them. And here's the best part. The other day I came in to follow up. I had my blood work from the last one. Even though she has it, I wanted it in front of me to see what the new one was. And we talked about it. And that may annoy them. I don't know, but it's my money. I paid my premiums. It's my time. So I go in very, very organized. But yes, you should always, especially if you're in pain, you should always have other people with you. Rick, you were saying something and it triggered something that I wanted to talk about. And
we're talking about the phone thing. And
I know what I was going to say. I think in the wanting to be more helpful to customers so that they can get to somebody quicker, they've actually made it more congested and horrible. You know what I mean? Like they've made it worse. And I think that's what happened is like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to have your own receptionist unless you don't have money, right? Like I don't have money to have somebody write all my content. So I pay for an extra thing for one of my podcasts to write the content and then I go in and fix it. You know what I mean? If I could afford to have somebody write the content, I would. But I'm not asking anybody else to come in and do 17 prompts. See, that's the problem. You're not, you know what I mean? Like I'm using AI to help me just have to do the transcription of the podcast. But I think what they did is they've eliminated, which I think was probably one of the best things, is a great customer service person who, you know how freaked out I get when somebody answers the phone when I call? I freak out. I'm like, I thought it was going to be a voiceover. They're like, yes, how can I help you? You know what I mean?
I get that all the time. Yeah, I get that because I literally pick up on the first ring and it was like, oh. Like they're shocked.
It is alarming when you actually get a human being on the phone and you're calling like an institution and you really don't think, you're like, I'm waiting for it to be like a beep or whatever. And they're like, no, it's me. Hello.
I gotta ask them, are you a robot?
It's so interesting. I think technology is pretty amazing. I was just reading something on AI. It was a quick meme. I'm going to totally hack it and mess it up. And I wish I had saved it and not tweeted it, but reused it or whatever. It said, I don't need AI to write my content or, do my social media. I need AI to do my laundry and to do my dishes so I can be more creative. And I thought it was a really interesting thing that we don't want AI to take over our jobs. We want AI to take over the jobs that nobody wants to do, right? The hard labor kind of things, like somebody go do my dishes, But that's also somebody's job. How do you guys feel about AI? Not to change it, but because we're going there anyways. Are you scared for your jobs at all with AI? Clearly not, because the prompts are not working. So
I don't think I'm scared of it. At least not for me anyway. Like what I do, they always say they prefer to talk to a person. Like, oh, thank God I got an actual person. You know, they don't want to really talk to a robot. Or we have a live chat feature too on the website, so you could type a message.
Is it a bot? No, it's you.
No, it goes straight to me. That can get annoying, because if I'm already on the phone with one person and they got this live thing, I'm like, I'm supposed to do two things at once, because if you don't answer soon, they're like, "Are you there?" I'm like, I'm only one person. But
you don't tell them you're only one person, do you? No. Why don't you just say why don't you do what they always do, which is you're 17 in line? Like, I'm serious. And then I'll come back later.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, oh, just give me a moment. I'll look into that for you. I'll be right back 1 second. Something like that.
Or that new thing now where it's like, if you've been waiting for X amount of time, you can leave your number and we'll call you back when it's your turn.
Oh, yeah. I get that with UPS.
Amazon does that
FedEx.
too.
Yeah.
If you ever call Amazon. Sometimes I don't want to do that though, because sometimes I think they just want my phone number. Like if they don't already have it, you know what I mean? Because I've done it a couple times, and then like a week later, I'm getting all these spam things. I'm like, now where did that come from? Because nobody has my phone number unless you know. You don't have my number unless I've given it to you.
I'll wait.
Private number.
I'll wait, but if it's too long, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's do that, because this is just ridiculous. I got stuff to do. So then they'll call back, and hopefully they'll get me if somebody doesn't pick up.
I like AI because I want to get to the place in life. Like people are upset because they think AI is going to take over people's jobs, right? That's the whole kind of thing and I don't actually think that's true. I think AI is going to, I do think it's true. It is going to take over a lot of jobs, but just like the tractor did, just like, any other time in our history where we've developed into another technological advance, like from not having a wheel to having a wheel to not having cars and using horses to having cars and trucks and whatever, there's always a displacement. But I see AI, and this might be me being dreamy, I want to get to that place where we're in Star Trek land. And every time I think of Star Trek, I think of the fact that all of that is AI. Like all of that is artificial intelligence going into the holodeck. You know what I mean? Getting your cup of tea and your meals. And it's the world I want to live in. So I welcome AI. So that's what I'm confused by. Like people are so afraid of what's coming.
What's funny too is I'm thinking, because this used to always bug me, because I was like, that doesn't even make sense. So you have like next generation, they just hit the communicator.
Yep.
Lieutenant, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't everybody have the same communicator? Are they all hearing that voice going to everybody's communicator?
Well, no, because it's AI. Now
that's what I'm saying.
That was their Bluetooth.
AI makes sense. That makes, but then also the response time is like, you heard it that quick. Okay.
I know, but we're all, look at, if you saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, which I know you did, Rick, right? You watched it. That was way before its time, right? It was done in 1969, Stanley Kubrick's movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey. And, they were having conversations on a computer. And now, as I say it, people are like, well, duh. But we weren't doing this 10 years ago. We weren't doing Zoom calls like this 15, 20 years ago.
We didn't have internet in the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. We barely had it in the 90s, right? Didn't we have it in the 90s? I remember having a pager. I had a pager when I first came out to LA, and I got here in 1994. So I had a pager, and then I would go find a phone to call you. So 2001: A Space Odyssey, they're doing the phone thing, and there's so many things about it that's freaky weird, but that's technology. That's who we are as humans. We want to be smarter and go farther and develop. Like we don't stand still. We don't stay stagnant. Yeah, I like that about us.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. I think AI should be a helpful tool. I think people have been watching Terminator too many times, thinking,
Wait, why Terminator? Is that Arnold Schwarzenegger? I don't think
because that's what happened. Is like basically the computers took over and the humans and whatever and robots.
Oh, it's like Minority Report.
I'm trying to
remember that. iRobot.
Yeah. Okay, so like war games. Yeah, so like the computers take over.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm good.
What people are scared of.
Look, like people are sucking so bad lately. I'm okay with computers taking over right now. Go ahead, Cynthia. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying that AI is there to help advance technology and to help people out with newer and better things in life. But I think people are just scared, like you said, like these movies. They think that it's going to come to life and take over the world and stuff like that.
It might. I'm ready for it though. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I think AI is really new. I forget what article I was reading. I think it was in the Associated Press talking about how AI gets a lot of things wrong. So if you use a prompt on Microsoft's Copilot, which is what it's called on Microsoft, or you use, any of these new like Chat GPT, whatever, they haven't been upgraded since September or October 2023. So check that out, right? Or since December 2023. If you try to find current events on some of these AI programs, they haven't been updated. And part of it is this argument going back and forth as to licensing, whether or not they have the right. Like, do they have the right to go and pull my book from Amazon.com and make it full content because somebody in Australia is asking, please give me a summary of Carmen's book from Canela, blah, 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 right? ChatGPT will take that. And that's the controversy right now. Like, where's that line? Does it not? I'm not saying my book is a big deal. I'm just giving an example of how this is becoming problematic. Like, where do I get my monies from my creativity? And you taking my book without buying it because you can scroll on the internet and take that information. And then you're doing a little quick summary and now nobody's going to buy the book. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm not doing this to promote the book. I'm just using an example. But that's kind of what the situation is. I think it's just too new. Yeah. So the article also said people should be double checking your AI sources. So, I'm like, don't trust everything. The internet is still new, people. Adam said I had a pager and had to go to the payphone on the corner to call people back. And I was the tech guy. Adam, I love that. That's awesome. I was the tech guy. Yeah, it was back in the day. But it's just so funny. I think technology is awesome. I think customer service people are amazing. I don't have the patience. I try to be as kind and as patient as possible. But I'm not going to lie, I lose it a lot with customer service people on the phone when it's the prompt stuff. I can't handle it. So I've changed. I try to just send emails now or just go online. I don't even try to call people no more. It drives me insane. But
let me tell you, my husband has patience of a saint because he was literally on hold to finally speak to a representative of Dish Network for over an hour to the point he's doing dishes, he's doing this, he's doing that. And when they finally picked up, he's like, I'm sorry, who did I call?
Yeah,
exactly.
I was on hold for so long.
Yeah. Try calling the IRS. If you have to call the IRS for anything, it's such a waste of your energy. And here's the thing. The IRS is not up to par. So you can't go online and send an email or go online and you cannot do that. You have to call. If you get any notification whatsoever, which when you have a small business, you get a lot of them, or if you don't pay your taxes. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm serious. You have to turn around and call them and you're on hold forever. Mario, you didn't work at the IRS. You were the bank. That was different. I had a direct line to you, and I hate to date us, but that was 19. When was that? It was like, oh no, it was 2000. It was 2001 through 2004, but that was different. Mario was the banker at City National Bank. I hope it's okay I said the name of the bank. And they were our primary bank people at Brandy School when I worked at Brandy School, and he was our primary person who helped us with everything. And he had great customer service, like the best. So much so that we became really good friends. And here we are. How many years later? 24? It just dawned on me it's been 24 years, right? We're in 2024? Oh my God, Mario, it's been 24 years, baby.
Wow. There's a lady that one of the companies we deal with is we sell certain kind of furniture, medical type furniture, whatever. And there's just one lady. Oh, it's the lady that said, this is the old story of, I didn't know what you looked like. I thought you were a short black man. So that lady, she just retired. And I was like, no, because she was so nice to me, so friendly to me. Like we would just sit there and just chat.
Well, it's like the Mario thing, but you've never met.
Yeah, no. But then when she retired, she's like, let me give you my Facebook so we can stay in touch. I was like, see, that's a real one there. She's cool.
Mario, how can it be only 20 years? I was at Brandy School. Oh, I guess it was 2000. Okay, sorry, 2000, 2001. Yeah, we probably started our relationship in 2004. I think it was earlier. Mario, I think you're mistaken. We had a relationship at City National Bank, I think before you showed up, maybe. That would make more sense.
Either way, it was a long time.
Either way. I'm quibbling over it. It wasn't a long time. It was just like 5 years ago.
She was only like 25.
Oh my God. Well, because I'm only 38 now. I mean, hello. Oh my God. I have never felt so old in all my life than when I came back from my trip and had to go to work on Monday. I was like in so much pain Monday morning. I was like, my angst and my sadness to like have to go into the office was just horrible. Yeah, I felt really old because it was hard for me to go back to work. Even though I'd done work while I was in Aruba, I just couldn't do it. I was sad. But oh my God, we've already gone past the hour.
We have. You know, one more thing about the phones, because this drives me crazy. Sometimes
Rick is all up in this business.
FedEx, UPS, these delivery companies. Please put in your tracking number, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'll do that because I know you need that. You got to have that. And it's like, and choose from the following options, yada, 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 yada. And I'm like, customer service. We understand you want customer service. Please give us this information first. customer service. I keep doing it till I finally get it.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Look at I think those things were meant to help, but they've gotten out of hand. I think now it's just bad. Any company that has those prompts and it's not necessary, I don't do business with them.
Yeah.
I just don't. I can't stand it. It drives me insane. And I know it sounds very bougie, but I don't want to stray from the characterization that I have. But just some companies like that have it and it's not necessary. It's like either then give me an online option or don't tell me to call you. So I can't get away from the IRS. So I tried. I really tried to figure out a way not to have to deal with the IRS, but I'll pay my bills. All right. Well, with that said, let me just say a few other things because I'm trying to get better at this. I don't want to say please like. What do you always say, Rick? Please like, stop it, not stop.
Like, share, and subscribe.
I hate that line. We got to come up with something better. So something I would like people to do who are listening to the podcast, like a new line instead of saying please like, share, and what?
Subscribe. Some people say, if you got value out of this content, do us a little favor and just give us a little like. It helps the algorithm, push this out to more people. And
I don't want to ask people if you got value. I don't care if you got value out of this.
Listen, if you like to vent and you like to have fun, just go like our page.
And subscribe and hang out next
time. We talk about everything.
Yeah, like follow us on all of our stuffage. You can find us at aatjoy.com or allaboutthejoy.com. Blah, blah, blah. I got to get better at this, but I really hate it. So I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say that every time. I can't stand doing it. You know what? Because I just want it to be simple. I don't want it to be about people have to do anything. But I am going to start selling some sweatshirts and t-shirts.
You could do like I do and create a banner to scroll at the bottom.
I don't want to do that either.
But you don't have to have it the whole time. Just when you get ready to mention it, and then be like, and down
Rick,
below,
me and you will be her.
Adam, smash the like button.
I say that all the time.
I love that. Adam wins.
Mario, I'm trying to tell you.
Look at Mario. Let Rick do it. Okay, the reason why I don't have Rick do it, Rick already knows. Rick was doing it, but I was like, no, stop. Because he was doing that line. What was it? Like, subscribe, and share. I don't like it. I need something flavorful. I think I like smash the like button.
That's a
come up with something like that. That kind of has a flavor to it. I like this. Anyways, you get the point. Okay. So help us out. We need it. We appreciate you. Remember, we're here every Thursday. We're going to be here next week with the crew, with everybody else.
Oh, nice.
And we'll see you then. And remember, it's always all about the joy, everyone. So good night. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Bye, Cynthia. Bye, Rick.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for stopping by. All about the joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.